October 26th and 7th. Hey, how's it going, everybody? We are live. Midwest Preparedness Project in the house. I got my man, my ride or die, Mr. Spagnolo, the man, the myth, the legend, in-house. Back behind here, you got the man in the chair.
Hey, folks.
Say hi. Everybody say hi to Kyle.
Hey, Kyle. Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi.
Hi. Bobby, what do we got going on today?
Well, today, this is the first live for the Great American Preparedness Tour Fall Festival. So let's bring in the other members of the tour. We have Nicole Sauce from Self-Reliance Festival, and we have Jason Sparks from Kentucky Sustainable Living. And today we're going to talk about the fall season for the 2024 Great American Preparedness Tour.
Ooh. Let's start with ladies first. How you doing today, Nicole?
Doing great. How are you? It's I am not in the heat of Tennessee. I ended up in California this week, so I feel like it's 102 degrees in Tennessee, and I'm here and it's like 75.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Jason's gonna strangle me now, right?
No.
Yeah.
You've got to be behind enemy lines. It might as well be comfortable.
Yeah. Shoot, I'm not mad at you. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Good. I'm hot. It's 90, upper 90s here today. So that, and it's going to be that way the rest of the week. And we've been pulling barn lumber out of a barn and denailing everything for a job. So it pretty much sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing you can do there but embrace the suck and get sweaty in places where the Lord intended us for not to be sweaty.
At least in public.
At least in public.
There's not a spot that was dry the last couple of days. I mean, it's stupid. You're drinking 2 or 3 gallons of water a day, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. It feels like it's running right through you, but man, you're glad you have it.
It's
What
not
are
a
you
joke.
using for electrolytes, Jason? You doing anything to help absorb it?
I either use the Element or the Liquid IV. It just depends on what I've got in the truck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of that, Kyle had a product that you used. He helped me one time, several events back, like 4. I wiped out hard on Saturday night, Sunday morning. I got sicker than a dog. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was food poisoning or what it was. But Kyle, what was that stuff Noon?
Yeah, it's called Noon. N-U-U-N. It's an electrolyte tab that you put in a bottle of water, and it'll rehydrate you and get you going again.
Yeah, that stuff was bad to the bone. It worked. It worked. It made me feel a whole lot better, a whole lot quicker than I would have been. But
you're pretty rough. That was a pretty rough day, man. We were
I laid you out.
I was done.
Like we were this close to taking Spagnolo to the ER room that day. And we're like, you know what? We're gonna have to colonic this guy.
And then it was that day I realized that doing this is actually hard work.
What?
All right, well, let's get into talking about the 3 shows that we have coming up. I believe the first one this calendar year is ours with Midwest Preparedness. It is next week, September 3rd through the 9th. We have a whole bunch of things happening at ours this particular time. We're even branching a little bit into Thursday with a new event called Hometown Homesteaders. And it's designed to kind of be a variety show, kind of like a quick on-stage, off-stage with a bunch of local homesteaders who have something to say about a lesson that they've learned or something that they did and failed and what they did to remedy it, or something that's been on their mind to talk to the homesteading community. And we're going to have folks like Kyle from Nowhere Homesteading, and of course Tag from Life Done Free will be up there. But we're going to have 3 other folks that haven't been on the stage very much or at all at any of these festivals, who are actually people who live the homestead lifestyle. And they're going to talk about things. I think a good chunk of the stuff this time is going to revolve around livestock and things that people have come up with to mitigate certain expenditures or hardships when it comes to raising livestock. But the idea for this new event, Hometown Homesteaders, is to be kind of a rapid fire. Everyone gets like 15 to 20 minutes to talk about one thing, and then they get ushered off. The next person comes up. And that way you get multiple perspectives over a period of about an hour and a half in these short little segments that'll allow you to dart back and forth and check on the campfire, make sure the kids are good. And it's going to be more of a laid back type of thing. More meat and potatoes.
There's a couple of these people that Spags has got lined up. I am really, really interested to sit and listen to. And Kyle and his family is one of them. They have an interesting story, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but I'll sprinkle a little Salt Bay on it for you people there in the audience, and those that watch us down the road. But Kyle is living the dream. He's doing, in my opinion, something that is so noble and so overlooked that this, I guess, this culture or society that we've kind of evolved around or into, we really do kind of overlook. Kyle's got a generational homestead where he's taking care of parents and in-laws on the family homestead where he's living and working with his family. And so like they're going through the motions of preparing for end of life and all of those things at the same time. They're working this homestead. That's something I think most people overlook these days. And I'm so looking forward to that story.
Yeah, and I'll shout out real quick too. Today is my mother-in-law's 59th anniversary, so happy anniversary to Butch and Nina.
Happy anniversary!
I'm glad you're there. And yesterday we just put the cabin on the property for them. So,
Yep,
nice.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Looking forward to it, man.
Can't wait to share that story.
So yeah, we're excited for that. We're excited to have them. Kyle's in-laws were actually at my house for 4th of July this year, so that was a lot of fun getting to hang out with them, and they got to see how unruly and crazy we get over there with sticks of dynamite in the front yard, 1 block outside the city limits of the capital of the state,
Death scooters
and all that stuff. So anyway, September 3rd through 9th, starting on the 5th, which is Thursday on, we're going to have the vendors will be allowed to start vending the events. At the risk of saying too much, you see over my shoulder here this really cool piece of pipe.
What is that?
That is an item that we will be giving away this particular time. I'm not going to pick it up. I'm not going to hold it.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. But let's just say that if you would need to barbecue something expeditiously with the ability to control the flow of the fire for the barbecue pit, that particular item will be given away at this year's festival, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. Nicole sent us a wonderful gift basket full of coffee.
Yep.
If you watched our short video that we put out yesterday, I highlighted a bunch of the prizes, and of course, there's Holler Roast sitting right there in the middle of the video.
Dude, that coffee is good coffee.
It is
I'm
good
drinking
coffee.
some right now.
Yep, good stuff. So, all sorts of stuff. A more homesteading lineup this year or this fall for us. We have Crunchy Mama Farms coming out midday on Saturday to talk about
Sean from Texas.
Yeah, Sean from Texas, Crunchy Mama Farms, to talk about being the butcher on your land. And then right after that, we go into Billy Bond from Perma Pastures, along with our local guy, Darren Strong from Hacks for the Homestead, doing a chicken demo. So
there's a picture floating around from KSL that we were all at last year where you remember, Jason, we were talking about this the other night. Do you remember that? Whatever happened to that hog head?
You know what happened to the hog head. Tag knows what happened to the hog head because he helped.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. we were looking for that answer, and I was like, you know what? Jason knows what happened to that hog head.
Did y'all
like code for something?
He doesn't kiss and tell.
Oh, this is not code. Oh yeah, technically this is code for something. It's code for hide and seek.
Yeah, a hog head got hidden somewhere in a vehicle.
Do you know if it was ever found?
Nobody ever said a word if it was found or not.
I mean, how do you not find that eventually? Because isn't that going to stink?
I don't know.
Probably.
Shenanigans happening at Kentucky Sustainable Living.
It left Bowling Green. I know that. So it didn't stink in Bowling
It
Green.
left Bowling. Well, it crossed a state line, so now the Interstate Commerce Clause is going to come into effect.
You know, that's a fun one. That's a fun conversation to have when you're pulled over. Like, why is there a bloody head in your trunk?
That's when you just look up at the officer and you just say, I don't kink shame.
I would have taken that in a whole different direction. I would have been like, that was the last cop that stopped me and asked the same question.
That, or you needed a tricycle like a saw.
Oh, wait.
Oh, God, that's funny.
We're getting canceled. Sorry.
Oh, God.
Sorry. I didn't mean that. I love cops. Please don't pull me over.
Yep. All right, so what's the second show going to be this year? I believe SRF, you're next, right? After ours. So why don't you go
we're
ahead and tell
about a
us all
month
about
after
yours?
you, which means you have time to recuperate because we are welcoming a VIP DJ / MC to the Self-Reliance Festival, and that's going to be Spags. He is head MC for the whole thing to make sure everything happens. And I actually have the agenda to send to you, but then I was like, your show's in 2.5 days or something. So I'll email it to you, but you don't need to read it.
Yeah, go ahead and send it on over.
Yeah, it's really cool. We've changed a lot this time. So we added Self-Reliance Kids to the agenda. And
Ooh,
typically we've had 2 simultaneous sessions going on. That other tent, the smaller tent, is going to have a kids program. We can handle up to 30 kids. And we're focusing in on ages 5 to 12. I mean, if somebody's 4.5 or, like, it's not like show me your records and make sure. And they're doing a combination of sort of like fun, artsy, craftsy stuff like painting pumpkins to how to manage a fire safely and cook your food with fire.
There
And then
you
they
go.
eat the food they cook. So it's really great. It's run by Becky, which is the wife of Toolman Tim. And I'm sorry, there's about to be noise. I'm going to keep talking and you're going to hear me, but you're not going to see me. So Becky's putting that together. We've got a lot of helpers on that one. And to support that, we added a family pass. So you can get like 2 adults and all the related children you have who are under 18 for one price.
Nice.
That's all over at selfreliancefestival.com. But we also have Zach from An American Homestead coming in. He's
Nice.
going to talk about like how to set up your homestead in advance so that, especially for your new homesteaders, you don't like lose your mind. Which is something that, like, what's the story we hear time after time after time from homesteaders? Like, I did too much at once. I committed to too much at once. Like,
oh yeah.
I have that story. I'm pretty sure Jason has that story where it's like we got pigs and then we got goats and then we got, and then there was stress. So he's going to talk about that. And he's got an off-grid focus. We've got Jack Spirko coming in and he's talking about using cover crops to improve your soil health, as well as running a Bitcoin breakout session where they're talking about just ins and outs of whatever people want to know about Bitcoin. I've got Alan Booker coming in to talk about taking control of your local food, saving seeds, how to be sure your meat that you're getting doesn't have like genetic changes in it, that sort of thing.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's
that'll
going to
be
be a
good.
good one. He's doing a roundtable because he's been working with a team about how to become a sort of a ministry or a church for extra legal protection, so you can do what you want to do inside the context of your charter that may or may not require USDA oversight, that sort of thing. And this is a roundtable discussion because his perspective is twofold. One, he is not here to sell you a course on how to do this. That's not his goal. He wants to share information. Two, he's working with lawyers and all sorts of other people, but he's like, I'm by no means an expert, and this is different in every location, but we have to start talking about it. So I reached out to another friend who runs a private ministry association across the state so they can bring their perspective in because they've set up a food cooperative that's been pretty cool.
Nice.
That one, that's a discussion more of us need to be having on the Liberty side. So, of course, we have our VIP dinner. That's a farm-to-table dinner being done by AJ. We're doing beef tri-tip and some local chickens that are grown. And we're raising money for the Caleb House through our opportunity ticket giveaway.
Nice.
And I told you guys, I couldn't remember, like
Really?
something cool was just donated. A FlowJack Ready kit worth $800, which is a full like electric free water pump system's been donated to that. So
that's awesome.
We have all sorts of cool stuff. So I guess that's in a nutshell. If you want to see like the full lineup, just go to selfreliancefestival.com. If you click on info and agenda, it'll take you to everything. We have some highlighted speakers there, but like I just got a guy to agree to build a forge and forge with fire. That's
hell yeah.
Yeah. He was like talking about his forge and how he doesn't want to do propane. I'm like, well, can you build one in a day and show us how to do that? He's like, yeah. So yeah,
Nice.
It's gonna be super fun.
That's cool. I'm going to look forward to emceeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a
We'll be
lot to
filming
do,
that.
man. I'm telling you.
That's awesome. Well, sweet. What are your dates again, Nicole?
October 5 and 6 in Camden, Tennessee. And that's at selfreliancefestival.com. Ticket prices are $75. They go up to $95 on like midnight, September 2nd, like first thing in the morning. So
Get in where you fit in, folks. Get it now while you can.
Yep. You don't want to miss it. You're going to get to see Nicole. You're going to get to see me. Well, you might not want to see me. I'm not that special, but you're going to get to see a lot of cool people at that event, which then rolls us right into the third show for the fall festival. And that will be Kentucky Sustainable Living, I believe, October 26th and
6th.
7th.
Yeah,
So, Jason, why don't you
26th,
tell us what you have in store for the tour this fall?
Ours is going to be in Bowling Green, Kentucky, October 26th, 27th. A few of our speakers I'm excited about. Bill Stoker Matic, is going to come up from Georgia. He's going to be talking about homestead security. He'll be there. One of the guys I really want to meet, I've wanted to meet him for a while, is Randall White, Flomaton famous. He does a lot of tree grafting stuff. He's probably one of the lead guys on tree grafting. He's going to have his booth set up showing people how to graft trees pretty much all weekend, selling stuff. Then Brian and Susan Dudley from S&B Homestead Radio will be there.
All them guys.
Yeah. Byron Russell, which Byron's a Green Beret. He actually lives right over around Clarksville. He's a big drone authority. So he's going to be talking about drone defense on your homestead and pretty much just drone defense in general. He's a super wealth of knowledge. And then Local Preppers in the chat. I saw him a minute ago. Local
LP.
Preppers, he's coming over, and
Nice.
he's gonna kind of do a preparedness 101 for people.
Nice.
So those are a few of our speakers. We've still got a lot more. We got a lot more signed up, and then we've got a lot more that we're talking and seeing if we can get dates worked out, stuff like that. We're going to have a huge vendor area like we always do. Everything from custom knives, freeze-dried foods, medical equipment, solar stuff, homemade goods, everything like that. Saturday night, we are doing a charity dinner for Caleb House. So we're going to do a prime rib dinner for them. You can get tickets for that at KentuckySustainableLiving.com. And then all the rest of the information is all on our website.
Fantastic.
That sounds like 3 awesome events to round this year out.
Yes.
And I want to remind everybody that when you attend these events, if you think you're going to make it to at least one of each of the 3 events, be it the spring, be it the fall, you want to make sure you ask to get your your poker chip. There's one for Midwest Preparedness, one for Kentucky Sustainable Living, and one for Self-Reliance Festival. If you collect one of each, by the end of the calendar year, you get a Christmas present from us.
Oh.
Flip it over. It's a laser engraved Mora knife, a 511 in military green and black that has the Great American Preparedness Tour lasered onto the blade.
You can't see it because it's just too cool.
It's too shiny.
It's too shiny.
So the only way you get these chips is you have to come up to one of the show promoters and specifically ask for it. They're not going to probably be at the entrance desks per se. You might not be able to just ask anybody with the vest on. You probably have to ask specific people. It's an exclusive club to get all 3. So do not forget to ask for those.
Ask me. I'll hook you up. Laser. LP said laser.
Laser.
It's got a freaking shark with a laser beam. These are nice. These are really, really nice. If you guys don't know, Mora Knife makes they make a wicked little tool there.
You know, for the price it is, you can't really beat it.
No.
Speaking of Mora knives, at ours, we're going to actually have a handful of Mora cans balls that we're going to be selling at our event to raise money for Midwest Preparedness. So they're going to be the limited edition Dollar Red.
Yep.
They're Swedish knives. So every year, Mora, as a company, launches 1 or 2 knives with traditional colors from, folk colors from Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
And this year they did kind of a lime green, and then they did this thing called Dollar Red, which is a really cool color. So we have 10 of those that are going to be laser engraved with Midwest Preparedness across it.
Yep.
And then Scott Harrison, who's one of our sponsors, is going to put his logo, and they're numbered 1 of 10.
Yep.
One of them will be in part of the giveaway, but the other 9 will be for sale at the front desk for Midwest.
Very limited edition, guys. These are super duper cool. Yep. So, what else do we got going on here? So we've covered the tour.
Yep.
We've covered. Let's see. So, well, I guess this rounds us out right before the election. What do you guys want to take some bets on how this shakes out after at the KSL festival? Do you think we're gonna go right out of KSL and into an election, Jason?
We're going to go right out of KSL into martial law.
I think Jason's
wrong.
getting the following pushback. I can't come to your festival because there's an election. Have you gotten that yet?
I've had a couple people
God.
say that. And I'm like, hell, you got time to get home.
Well, not only that, but where do you want to be if everything melts down? Like, do you want to be with all your prepper friends, or do you want to be by yourself at home?
Yeah.
Right. Would you rather be in your high-rise apartment in downtown wherever with a bunch of, soup kitchen participants? Or do you want to be around a bunch of people like us?
I'm going to be in my Mark Zuckerberg bunker in
So
Hawaii.
Self-Reliance Festival that weekend is Alien Invasion weekend, just so you know. It's been
Sweet.
predicted
Ooh.
that we're being invaded by aliens. So he
Nice.
gets the election, I get the alien invasion. What do you guys have? What's your reason that people don't come?
Honestly, people, it's so weird. Some folks, especially in certain parts of Kansas, are like, well, it's just too far of a drive.
Yep.
And I'm like, I've got folks showing up from New Mexico. What's your excuse? You live 50 minutes from here.
That is one of the weirdest ones we see so often on social media. It'll be somebody that lives an hour away and they're like, I wish this was closer to Wichita.
It's like,
I would come if this was 30 minutes closer to me.
right. Yes. It's like, come on, guys. You think you're going to survive the end of the world, but you can't go 30 minutes to go meet people who you're going to survive potentially with.
I would come to this if you
Yesterday
had
we
public
were talking-
transportation.
Yeah. Yesterday we were talking, I was on a different live stream with Take the Ride, and he was this Greg Dowd. He was like, something he learned from John Willis is that if you really love somebody, being honest is the best thing you can do, right? Which means sometimes you need to tell somebody something that's maybe what they don't want to hear.
Yep.
And you could say it gently or whatever, but he's right. Like being upfront with somebody can help them see something maybe they don't see.
Sure.
And I think if you don't want to come to the festival because you just don't feel like it, it's better to say, I just don't want to this year than
Right.
to make up an excuse that 30 extra minutes of driving is the reason, or
Oh, man,
alien
you're not wrong.
invasions or
Thank
any
you.
of that. And then ask yourself, why don't I want to go?
Right.
Because
And 9
in
times out of
that,
10
maybe there's an insecurity that
Yeah.
maybe it's time to get out of your comfort zone, or maybe just like straight up, you don't want to this time because you've
Yeah.
gone to 90 festivals this year. I
It's
don't know.
not going to be because of monkeypox.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't even heard about that one yet. Like,
Oh yeah, apparently they're ramping up for a whole nother set of lockdowns and all this because they think it's going to happen. I'm like, as long as you don't accidentally fall into another man's arms and give him a big wet kiss, you're probably not going to catch it. You'll be
I am
fine.
confident I'm not getting monkeypox.
I don't know,
I
Nicole.
do
You
not
seem
engage in
suspect.
behaviors that make me at risk for monkeypox.
Pretty friendly.
Well, there's somewhere up north that they've canceled. They've done some lockdowns in some northeastern town because of some mosquito, some horse virus or some crap
up
that they were
there in
talking about.
Massachusetts, Yeah.
Yeah,
the
like
New
they
England,
closed all kinds-
Massachusetts area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yep. Voluntary lockdowns.
What's so funny is that the reasons for preparedness have changed really decade by decade. So if you go back to the 90s, the big push was more of the government's coming for us, that sort of stuff. And then into the 2000s, it was because of terrorism and because of, potential for war. Now we're having classes about Bitcoin, anti-drone measures, and we're talking about diseases like monkeypox. Who had that on their end of the world Armageddon bingo card for 2024?
I'll take monkeypox for $5, Alex.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to watch the cycle because we're into our 8th event now. You guys have been going way longer than me, so you've been hearing all of the different reasons for longer. But what it underlines is that the more you're afraid, the more you should be there. But that's the excuse. It's really because people are afraid. And when you get together and talk to a bunch of people who are making their lives better by learning important skills, getting to develop those good relationships, all of those things, you realize that actually this way of life is making my life better no matter what happens. So then when we hear something like monkeypox, we just giggle about it, right? Instead of like, yeah.
Tag from Life Done Free just jumped in and he said mosquito plague for $20.
Yeah, no, plague.
Plague.
Dude, mosquito plague.
Mosquito plague for $20.
Yeah, I'll take mosquito plague for $20, Alex.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Hey folks, real quick, if you haven't done this yet, please like and subscribe to this channel. We would really appreciate it. It helps us beat the algorithm, and even if we're not picking up stuff like things in the background that
We didn't touch. I might have touched it.
Well, you might have touched it, but we're still here, so they don't care anymore.
Yep. And if you're going to do that, then there's a whole slew of other folks here you should like and subscribe to as well for quality content. People like Local Prepper people like Kentucky Sustainable Living, Nicole Sauce, Life Done Free, all these channels, Nowhere Homesteady. These guys are for real folks who are going to put out for real content.
Yep.
And it's not just about the clickbaity stuff. It's not just about, being cool. It's about helping folks. So if you want sources of information, you're not going to find a better cluster of channels to follow than what you're seeing right here.
Yep.
To Nicole's point, you may be fear may be what brings you to these things, but when you get there, you find that you build a community, and then you want to keep coming back, not because of fear, but because of love and appreciation for everybody around.
Yep.
Yeah, and some people are like, well, it's a little, like Patrick and Bobby, what you're saying, it's a little bit too far. It's like, daggone, man, just drive an hour or two and be done with it.
That's right.
I mean, it's not. I mean, for what you're getting, the value that you're getting, the people that you're going to meet, and stuff like that is amazing.
Yep.
And it's like Nicole said before, you might drive 500 miles, but you meet somebody that's 30 minutes away from you.
Sure.
And I mean, we've had the same thing happen at ours. People will drive 3 and 4 hours, and they meet somebody that's 20 minutes down the road. So there's really no excuse not to come. Honestly, don't buy your freaking Starbucks for a month, and then you can afford a ticket to come.
Yep.
Seriously. I think it really goes back to like what Nicole hinted at earlier, that it's really an underlying reason. It's not that it's a 30-minute drive. It's not that I think there's a whole lot more to it. And again, the majority of these people, I think, like myself, I'm oftentimes an introvert that has to pretend to be an extrovert to earn a living, to participate in these circles, to get out and be in the I want to survive club, right? I have to put myself out there. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to do is just really get outside their comfort zone and just put themselves out there. Go hang out with some bald-headed, beautifully bearded dudes like Jason and Kyle. I mean, you never know what you're going to learn from somebody like Nicole. Did you guys know Nicole was a part of? No, you know what? I'm just going to leave that right there.
She was once a bald-headed, beautifully bearded man too, but it's 2024. There's no rules anymore.
I used to be able to bring my hair around and like hold it like a beard, but I cut 12 inches off about 2 weeks ago because it was hot.
Stop using the bullet bomb, and then all this just fell out.
Nicole, don't you have kind of an event at or something you do at your event to get people to actually meet folks from other or who live next to them, and you actually make these introductions?
We do connections sessions on purpose. We didn't it was never on the agenda before, but everybody would say, hey, is anybody here from there or there? And so we've started adding it to the agenda because it's going to happen anyway. Mm-hmm. And there has only been one case in 7 events where we didn't find somebody live from somewhere near the person, and we knew people from the area.
Yeah.
I think it was Pennsylvania last time where I was like, well, I know a ton of people from Backwoods Butcher is coming down from I think he's from New Hampshire. We've got the blacksmith is actually coming from Pennsylvania. We've got a bunch of people from Pennsylvania coming this time. But usually you'll have somebody raise their hand and say, who's here from, Nevada. And I'll say, well, who is here from Nevada? And then we take the next step and get them together in person, because we used to just say, look and find them. That doesn't work. You got to have them go somewhere, connect, commit to exchanging information. And you're there for a reason. You feel called to come for a reason. And so did somebody else. And there's a reason for that too. So then you meet each other. And then the things you can accomplish when you've met people in person are way stronger than our friends from the internet. I mean, I'm not discounting our friends from the internet, but if I hadn't met Tag, who's in the comments here in person, he's a great guy. He's super empowering. His content is awesome. Mm-hmm. But in person, it's a different experience. Then you can see the body language as they react to things. So as much as I love staying behind the comfort of this and not having to actually interact with people, you got to get out and do it.
Yeah.
That and too, I think people are like, well, I want to show up at this event and there's going to be a spotlight on me right as soon as I walk in the door. There's going to be so many people at each event. Nobody's going to recognize when you walk in there. You can walk in there and kind of blend in a little bit and get your bearing. But it's like they think that you're going to be put up on this big stage. And it's like, here's Bobby. He came in from, Kansas. And Bobby, you got to tell 500 people everything about yourself right when you walk in the door. And people think that it's like, you're going to walk in and you're going to be amongst everybody. Nobody's going to even know that you're there right when you walk in. And it's not a scary deal whatsoever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you'll find that these are great networking events. I think Tag just put a comment up right there. He is waiting on a concrete truck to pour a footing for a new homesteader that he met at SRF.
Yep.
So it just goes to show that the networking will lead to for real relationships. And believe me, there's nothing you need more. All the bullets, all the beans, all the bullion won't matter if you're by yourself. You have to have quality people that you surround yourself with. There's nowhere better to do it.
Yeah. The people that you meet here, if they're not your people, they will lead you to the people if you just hang out. If you come to these events, you'll find someone that you click with. You'll find someone that, speaks your language, that's on your wavelength, that dances your dance, whatever it is, right? There's someone at these events for everyone. I've been to KSL. I've been to SRF. I've watched it happen organically. You look out in the crowd and you'll see people just kind of like pick up conversation. And next thing you know, they're breaking out their phones and changing information. And it's the organic growth and that organic dynamic relationship building that you really need to get out there and experience at these events, because you won't find it in this live stream.
Yeah. And if you go and you don't talk to somebody and click with somebody, you didn't try. You purposely had to not talk to people, not to meet somebody there.
Unless it's LP. Like if you ever meet local prepper, like he's like one of those dudes, you just like him right off the bat. Because if you don't, see, he ain't scared.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with you. If you don't like local prepper, what's wrong with you? You don't like capitalism.
Yep. Well, speaking of local prepper, he also hosts a show, an event called Prep Stock.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be October 12th through 13th. So if you're in his neck of the woods, you might look into attending his show as well. And he's going to have a wealth of speakers, and they're going to have giveaways and classes and all sorts of stuff too.
Yep.
So make sure you go over to prepstock.net and check out that particular stuff. He's a supporter of all of our events as well. Maybe someday we'll get him on the tour. Who knows? We're looking for an East Coast show. So
Yep. It'd be nice to have somebody from Prepper come to Kansas and visit us and speak at our show, because Jason's cool and all, but we're cooler. I'm just saying. Come on, man.
I'm a lot closer too.
Yeah. He is closer.
That sounds like beard envy to me.
It may be. I mean, look at that. I'm trying to catch up with you guys. Maybe by KSL I won't even be close. I have way too much Apache blood, but
It's a little Filipino in you.
it is. He's a little guy.
Yep. Local prepper and I have been talking on the phone, and we've been chatting back and forth. And like he says, there's a good chance that next year in 2025 you'll get to see him at Midwest Preparedness.
Good chance, maybe.
Awesome.
Yep.
Is that Mama Sauce I see hovering around behind
Yeah,
you?
well, she actually just handed me a note saying she had to go somewhere, and my sister was picking her up. So, yes, that was her. She was walking through.
I was hoping she'd drop some like wisdom on us, some of that Mama Sauce wisdom.
Knowledge. Yeah. You got to see her in person at SRF to do that. We're pretty sure she'll be there. She hasn't been able to be there as much in the last year or so. So
yeah,
I think she's coming. She told me she's coming, but until she buys her ticket, I don't believe it.
Now, as I understand it, Mama Sauce she's staffing the kissing booth this year, right?
Absolutely.
God, no. Oh God, that's
Speaking
how you
of
get
that,
talking
hey,
about.
Oh, wow, wait.
Speed dating has been requested at selfreliancefestival.com. And that's fine. I'm not opposed to a speed dating session. However, unless somebody comes and decides to organize that, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Because I have enough on my to-do list for the event. I'm not going to add running speed dating, but it's a repeated theme. I don't know if you guys get it at your events. It's like, how do I meet like-minded people? And
All
I'm
the
like,
time.
and they're like, we need a session about that. So if anybody wants to set up speed dating for Self-Reliance Festival, I know some single people have already asked me if we're doing it. And I'm like, are you doing it? And they haven't said yes. So
I know for a fact that there's at least one couple. They were single last year that came to the Midwest Preparedness Festival, but came back this spring, and now they're a couple. There's some of that goes on, and it wasn't weird. It was organic,
Yeah.
It was beautiful, and I was grateful to see it because it was a couple of people that needed somebody in their life, and they just happened to start talking, sitting around the campfire, and I won't even call them out because they'll be there. But it's beautiful.
Yeah, we're not doing the cougar dens though.
Yeah, no cougar dens. Yeah, please, and thank you. Thank you, Tag.
Well, great, guys. Seeing as that it's a midday live and we're 35 minutes in, Nicole, do you have any final thoughts you want to put out for the tour for the end of the year?
All I can say, guys, is go to one of the three at least.
Yep.
It doesn't matter which one. Like, of course, I want you at mine, but I'm happy if you go to Midwest Preparedness or Kentucky Sustainable Living. Like, start getting out there, getting yourself out there, and be willing to go outside of your comfort zone. If you're a big introvert like I am or like Patrick is, make it your goal to have 3 meaningful conversations a day with somebody.
Yeah.
Have 5 questions you can ask. They'll start asking you questions, and probably one of those 3 conversations will turn into something.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. You don't have to go dance on the stage. You don't have to, shout from the back of the room. You just have to go and be open. And if it's a little bit outside of your comfort zone, that's okay. That's how we grow. And that's how we learn. And that's how we set ourselves up to be resilient, because a lot of what you see happening economically and in our country and worldwide really right now is that we are also transitioning into a new era with all of the technological advances.
You betcha.
And there's a lot of pressure to bring in the sort of top-down control on people that we had in feudal Europe, basically.
Yeah.
You don't want that. I don't want that. And so if change is going to happen, and that gives the opportunity for a new system, why don't we define a new system that empowers the individual? The only way we do that is by getting together and talking and sharing ideas and coming up with ways to work together. Because once we work together, it's hard for any of that to happen if most of the people are like, nah, that's not very cool. So check it out, Midwest Preparedness Project. So you guys are starting in like a week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
week.
Self-Reliance Festival, October 5th and 6th. And then Kentucky Sustainable Living, your October, is it 27th?
26 and 27.
26th and 27th. They're all far enough from each other. You could go to all of them if you really wanted to. But also, like, choose one and then do a different one next year and a different one next year and get your tokens. Because I guarantee you there's probably another similar thing happening next year with tokens. So,
Yep.
Probably so.
Yep.
Jason, what do you got for us, brother? What's your final word for the tour for the fall?
Everything Nicole said, I totally agree with. Come to one. Get out of your comfort zone. Don't make excuses. I mean, there shouldn't really be an excuse for not coming. I mean, you can get the money somehow to come to one of these festivals. I mean, hell, if they declare martial law, we'll figure out a way to get you home right after the festival. I mean, that, and you'll be with the dream team of preppers and homesteaders. I mean, it's like, yeah, you've got all these people there. Let's just go back to my place and we'll take over the whole stinking thing, and the dream team will be there. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, realistically, there's not an excuse. If you're into some of this stuff and worried about the way the future's going, you should be coming to one of these festivals to learn everything that you can, because now is time. And you should have been doing this a long time ago, but now is the time to do it. And there's awesome speakers at all 3 of these things that you can learn something from everybody that's there. I mean, heck, I learned stuff from people that I just meet at the festivals. It doesn't have to be some super big YouTube guy that you think is the expert on everything. It can be, a guy that's been doing this 20 years, and you can get these little gold nuggets from just sitting down at a table and talking to this guy. There's just so much information at all these places. It's amazing. And ours, we'll also have workshops on Friday. That's all on the website at KentuckySustainableLiving.com. We've got several workshops that are going to be going on Friday also.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Patrick, what do you got? What's your final word for the tour for 2024?
Guys, look, it's as simple. We are not designed to be solitary creatures. We are designed to seek each other out and partner with like-minded people, or spouses, or whatever you want, whatever analogy or word you want to put in there. But you're not going to find it at home. You're not going to find it at, watching these live streams. You're not going to find it watching YouTube. You have to get out. You have to get out of your comfort zone. Come to KSL. Go talk to Jason. He's a good dude. And if he can't help you, he will point you in the right direction. Same thing with Nicole. Same thing with Bobby. Same thing with Kyle. Same thing with myself. We've all been at this a long time. We're not pros by any sense of the means, or means of the sense, but we are. We're here.
We're the world's most okayish prepper team.
We are.
Semi-professional.
We're passionate.
We are
We are.
We're
passionate.
very passionate. Yes.
Yes. Kyle, what do you got? What's your last word for the tour for 2024?
Well, for Midwest Preparedness Project specifically, I just want to say that it's free. It's free. So if money is your concern, there's there's no reason not to show up. But more importantly than that, look, the objective of the government is to isolate. It's to keep us down, keep us in a position of fear. And I would encourage that these events, the KSL and SRF and MPP, where our focus is on building community. So step outside your comfort zone, show up, be a part of it, introduce yourself to someone you haven't met before, and come join us. Come help us grow this thing.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it here. 3 amazing shows, and then there's the 4th with Prep Stock from October 12th and 13th. 4 great opportunities, 3 on the tour, maybe more later.
Yep.
But until next time, folks, we'll see you at the shows and get out and do things in real life. Thanks for joining in and tuning in today.
Do some first person stuff. See you guys.
Thanks, folks.